Hey YouTube, I am making a video talking about my political positions, which some of you may surprise you, some of them may not. Um, the reason I want to make this video is because earlier I was talking to one of my friends, which is a conservative. I consider him more of a neoconservative. He's very much for the war in Iran and all that, stuff like that. He watches these videos, so he probably knows who I'm talking about. No hate for him. I probably disagree with him on a lot of stuff, which is fine. Which for me, it has always been a problem. With some people, some people can't disagree with somebody politically because they take that personally, like a personal attack on you. And I don't believe it should be a personal attack on you. You know, as long as you're respectful about it, I think two people that disagree politically can have a respectful conversation. Problem is, it usually doesn't. So let me talk about what I believe in. First off, socially, I consider myself more conservative and libertarian socially, mostly because of where I'm from. I live in a very red state, which is conservative. So that's why I'm probably where I'm from made me that way. So let me get started. Abortion issues. I am pro-life. I'm a bit on the conservative side of that. I believe life starts at conception, and I believe life should be protected. That's why I'm also against the death penalty because I think life should be. I think killing of life is wrong. That being said, if the woman's life's in danger, I think abortions should happen because I don't want the mom to die. Uh, Even though morally I'm against it, rape, I'll be able to deal with that. You know, abortions for rape and incest because I don't want to sound mean. We don't need a whole bunch of flipper babies either. So I know that kind of sounds mean, but yeah. When I say life of baby, some of these laws are kind of so vague that it scares doctors. For me, if I want to make a law, an abortion ban law, it'll be the doctor has a choice to make the medical decision to end an abortion if the life of the mother is in danger. You know, write it like that. If let the doctors decide, because at the end of the day, it should be between the doctor's decision if an abortion should be done to save the mom. Um, Gay marriage, as long as government is involved in marriage, I believe it should be allowed. Equal protection clause of the Constitution. So yeah. That being said, I'm against marriage, governmental marriage in general. I'm a libertarian in that situation. I don't think the government should be involved in marriage at all. Gay, straight, whatever, shouldn't be involved. I think the tax benefits or whatever benefits should be given without being married. And if you want to get married, either say you're married or go to church and get married if you want a religious marriage. Courts shouldn't get involved. Government shouldn't be involved in relationships. So it was up to me, just ban all marriage, gay or straight, governmental marriage. What else? Gun control. I am for a universal background check because I want to at least try. I know people still going to break the law, but still try to make it harder for people that shouldn't get guns to get guns. All right. For me, just violent offenders, stuff like that. I don't think people that got charged with drug crimes or nonviolent offenses, whatever, should be denied a gun if they're let out. But violent crimes, I think your right should be taken away. Totally, you shouldn't own a gun because you're a violent person and you've done violent acts. The assault weapon ban against. Honestly, I think the assault weapons ban is stupid because those are actually not assault weapons. AR-15 is not an assault weapon. An AK-47 is an assault weapon. That's already banned So we already have an assault weapons ban. We don't need to start banning guns that's not already banned. All right. Gun-free zones. Like I said, it depends. It depends on if the company wants to do it or not. Schools. If teachers want a gun, I think they should be trained. The proper handling of a gun and how to, that way we know they know how to use a gun, and how to shoot, yada yada yada, and let it be locked up. That way the kids can't get to it and stuff like that. But I would prefer actually cops, at least one cop being at every school, which my old school you had a cop. So yeah, what else? Trans issues, mostly none of government's business. I don't think it's the government's business to be in someone's bathroom. Honestly, if a business wants to allow men and women's and women in men's bathroom, I think that's that business's business. And if you don't want to do business with that company, as a result, you have that right, and that's how the free market works. Do what you want to do. Except trans athletes in women's sports or men's sports as well, I guess. No, because unless proven otherwise, I believe there's an advantage and it's unfair. So that affects other people. So I will vote to have trans athletes banned from being in a sport that they wasn't born as. I don't want to sound bad, but yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. That's pretty much it socially. I mean, that's all the hard-hitting gay rights. Government's not the government's business. Who you have sex with, not the government. As long as it's not minors, you hear me, or people that can't consent, none of our business. Like I said, none of our business unless it's a minor or somebody that's incapable of consenting to something. Yeah. And that being said, I think my state's age of consent law, which is 16, is very, very, very low. Higher that shit up. 18. Alright, 18. Alright. 18 with Romeo and Juliet laws added in. And that should be fine. Economically, I'm more towards the left. I believe healthcare should be a right for everybody. I know it's not. You can argue that it's not. But I believe as a nation we should care enough about people to make sure they don't get sick and die or bleed out on the streets and yada 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 yada. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how we'll institute that. Medicare for all, sounds interesting. Maybe we can do that. I also believe a UBI, a universal basic income, will eventually happen because of automation, and there's not going to be enough jobs for people, and we're going to have to do something. And I have an idea of how I want to do UBI. And if you're interested in knowing why, how I would do a UBI, if I was going to institute one, let me know. Some of these you may disagree with. Some of these positions you might agree with. Like I said, I go by a position and I think what's right. Sometimes I think conservatives are right. Sometimes I think liberals are right. That's why I consider myself a progressive independent. Honestly, I voted for. I'm getting ready to lose you, so I'll be right back because I'm only allowed 10 minutes on this thing. I'm thinking about buying it, but I'm cheap. So yeah, I'll be right back. All right, like I was saying, I consider myself a progressive independent. Do you hear me? I have voted for Republicans before. Not last time, but the time before, because I couldn't stand the Republican governor this time. The governor this time is I don't like it all. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah. But the governor before that, I voted for. Um, the last time I voted in a Senate race, it was a Republican. Believe it or not, I voted for a Republican senator. I'm regretting it now because he voted for that stupid ass bill that's gutting a whole bunch of funding with a whole bunch of things, um, which honestly I don't like. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. We can get into that later if you so choose to. I already talked about the cutting in Medicaid funding, which is going to destroy hospitals. Mental health is going to be destroyed, and I'm a huge on mental health. Do you hear me? Because sometimes my mental health sucks. So I can imagine. I mean, I'm not bragging, but you see some of the pills I take. I'm highly medicated, which I'm not going to get into that. Yes, I'm crazy. Ah! Crazy, paranoid. Um, but yeah, but people still love me. Um, UBI, I'm for, like I said. What else? Taxes. Um, I'm for progressive tax. I think if you're rich, you should pay more in taxes because you can afford to pay more in taxes. This country has given you the opportunity to make millions and millions and millions and billions and billions. I'm not like some people and say, oh, there shouldn't be any billionaires. I do. I mean, you earn all that money. Congratulations. Do you hear me? But making, let's say, $100 million a year. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? $100 million a year. Let's everything over 10 million, a 40% tax rate. It's not going to kill you. It's not. Hell, a 45% tax rate's not going to kill you at all. But it is what it is. Yes, I think our tax rate is way too low for very, very rich people. Because very, very rich people don't need a whole bunch of money. I'm happy they got it, but it's not going to hurt them to pay a little bit more. Be honest with you. And it's shown time and time again, when you cut taxes, the deficit goes up. It does. I mean, look it up. I mean, you don't believe me, Google. I always say Google's free. Don't take my word for it. I want people to do their own research. You know what I mean? Don't take my word for it. Google it. Google is free. That's pretty much it, really. But yeah, like I said, a lot of you may not agree with me. Some of you might not. I was very iffy about getting into politics because I know how people take that shit personally. And it shouldn't be. Because I think even though I'm personally not a Trump supporter, for a multitude of reasons, I don't think he cares about the working class. I don't think he cares about the poor. Proves it by that bill he just passed. Making the tax cuts permanent, but those deductions on tips and overtime expires in 2 or 3 years. We know where his priorities at. Also I don't like. He's not very presidential. Do you mean? I can personally care about all the tweets and all that. I mean, let him do him. Do you hear me? But it's just his temperament seems off for me. For a president. Do you hear me? I know my temperament's off to be president, but I'm not running. And yeah. But yeah, that's about it. I'm starting to rattle off. But yeah, like I said, I was talking to a friend yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, the day before, and we was talking, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably gonna make a video talking about because I was talking about my beliefs and all that. Because me and him, we sometimes debate politics because I don't want somebody to agree with me all the time. That's kind of boring. You know what I mean? I want to be challenged, you know, in a respectful way, you know, because I know I don't know it all. I know I don't. There's plenty of things I don't know about. But that's about it. Until next time, YouTube. Take care.